Hello guys and welcome to Mark Shrimp Tanks. Today we're going to be putting in and installing a Hamburg Matten filter into this tank over here. I've already done one before over here in this tank under there that you could probably just see. So today is me doing it in this tank. I decided to put one in this tank just to test it because the thing I'm not sure about with Hamburg Matten filters is how do you clean them? Now people say you don't clean them, and I know for sure the sponges get clogged up and choked and the efficiency becomes pretty much non-existent. And I want to see what happens with a Hamburg Matten filter if we get one in here and we got a power head behind it, and then we can see for sure. So what we're going to do here guys is we're going to measure up the inside diameters of this tank here, and then we're going to cut this, right? And one of the things I've learned doing this already is make your sponge all the way up to the rim if you have a rim, because mine's floated. The first time I tried this it floated and some shrimp got underneath, so I don't want that to happen. So we're going to use this rim here on the tank as like a thing just to stop it from popping up, right? So when we cut it, it's going to be all the way to the top. Okay, so that will explain that. Then we're going to put a hole in this and we're going to put our pump through it. Okay, now I have already pre-washed this and give it a good rinse before you do anything with these Hamburg Matten filters, because you never know how these have been treated after they've been made. So let's go over here. These are they're meant to be 50 by 50. This one's a little bit smaller, 49 by 50. So let's just see what the inside diameter of this tank is, because on my other one I made it 3 centimeters larger and it was just a little bit too big, right? So this one we're going to try 2 centimeters larger and see. So the inside diameter of this should be 40 centimeters. I'm just going to quickly take the diameter, the width of the outside of the tank as well, and we'll add a few centimeters to it. 40, so that is our width, 40, so we'll want to cut 42. And our height is going to be from the gravel. Now I have zeolite and stuff in here, but this is going to be pushed down a little bit. We're going to measure from the gravel, from the substrate to the top of this rim, away up here. You see it where my finger is, my thumb. So this is 38, so we should make it 40 again. Let me double check that. Were they both 40? 40, so it's 40 by 40. Let's get on with this. Remember I said we want it to be a little bit bigger on the width. So we have a very sharp knife here. I also have a piece of wood that we're going to cut along. Alright, so 142 there. .42 there, right? So we're just going to make it a little bit bigger. And the way you do this guys is you push the foam down as hard as you can, like this. Right down, get it down as hard as you can. And then you use your knife to cut the foam. Right, push it down as far as you can. That should come off quite easily, just like that. Right, so I'm going to choose this rough edge here as the side that goes on the inside, just so it looks nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. So what was the other size? It was 40, wasn't it guys, I think? And this is 50, right? So same thing again. I'm just going to quickly look at this because I want the top part to be the nicest looking, and they're both the same. So I'm just going to make this 41 just to try and get it close to the real actual size. Probably far better ways of doing this. 41, let's see, a little bit smaller. Because the thing with doing this guys, right, is you can always make something smaller But if you make it too small, you can't make it bigger again. So let's see, 41, that do? 41, because this will compress as well. 41, right, so a little bit bigger. Push down as hard as you can, like so. Get your sharp knife and drag it along. Just be careful this doesn't slip up and cut your hand, okay? That's the last thing I'd want. It's for one of you guys to injure yourself, right? So there is our width. And then the next thing we have to cut is our hole for our power head pipe to go through. Now if you're using a sponge filter, you will do exactly the same thing as I'm about to do next. But we need to measure to the water level, the water line, right? So I want to measure from the substrate up to the water line. And we could do this in the tank, I think. That is 24, 25, right? So obviously I don't want the pump sticking miles out of the water, right? So let's just measure the pump. I want it to be just under the water surface. So this is 5 centimeters. So we have to make the hole, what would that be, guys? 20 centimeters. And that means that the pump hole sit roughly about here on the sponge, right? So I've also, guys, fed the tank just to try and get all the shrimp to come to this side. So it's 25 up, right? So this is roughly the middle. So this is going to be the top part, this is the bottom, that's going to be the far side, and it's going to be the near side. We're looking for 25 to the water level. And then 20. See how far down that is, guys. It seems wrong to do it like that far down, but that is what it is. I hope you're better hoping. I'm going to make it 22, just to make it up a little bit. And all you do is get your pipe and you push it in as hard as you can, like this, and turn, and it will actually cut all the way through to the other side. Very, very accurately as well, right? So you see how hard was that? How hard was that? Okay, so we have our hole there. There's an insert. Look how perfectly cut it is, and it's going to go in like this, right? So we have our pipe going through the back here. We'll put our pump on this side and place it in like this. Now the hardest part of this is not going to be actually putting this in the tank. The hardest part is going to be making sure the shrimp are out from the back. Fold the sponge, get it in, try and beat the mad rush of shrimp trying to get over here for food. And that is pretty tight, actually. Let's see, you see it this time, guys? You see the way it's bent in the top as well? So that's a very good fit. Now I haven't really measured up the very, very top. Again, you see here, I could have probably taken a nick out of that corner, but I'm not going to bother. If it fits in now nicely, I'm not going to go and change loads of things. You can also see on the top here why it was important that we made the top a little bit bigger. You see here, because if you don't do this, it will float. Alright, so we know it fits now. We can put the little pump back in. This is the Pat Mini power head. And so that is the power head in. It's sitting nicely in the water. I'm just going to push this right into the corner. Isn't that a good fit? It was a little bit of a hassle putting in. But this is the type of hassle you're always going to get when you're doing stuff when the tank is already set up. Looks good to me, right? So, and that is how you install a Hamburg Matten filter in a tank that is already up and running. Right? So what I'm going to do next, guys, is I'm going to take the filters. You see the filters here? I'm going to take them. And I'm going to put these behind to make sure there's no shrimp on them. I'm going to put these behind the Hamburg Matten filter. Alright? Because this will help to seed the sponge. Now we also have another filter in another corner, so push this in here. It's a bit tight in there. Alright, so then you go back in your corner. Now this will eventually, when it fills up with water, it will sit in position better. Okay, it almost looks like it's not on, but it is, you see? Alright, so what else I'm going to do, guys, just to help seed this a little bit more, is I have some NutriDust here from Pure Nordic. I'm going to feed the tank, because if I was just feeding them after a water change, and all of this will get sucked into that sponge, and it will help to create biofilm. Okay, so you will see updates on this, how I get along with this, and hopefully it'll work well, and we'll see a huge explosion of shrimp babies all over the sponge, etc., because that would be nice to see. But that is about it, I think. Them all come out here soon. Anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed today's show, please subscribe. If you want to see more, please like, etc. Comment below if you have any questions, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, thank you for watching. Happy shrimp keeping.
Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.